بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is great joy and honor to come from London to share with you the success of this conference in the name of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, who is the torch of guidance, the ark of salvation, and the one whose love is equivalent to love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is based on the authentic hadith of Inna al-Husayna Misbahul Huda wa Safinatul Najat, and Ahabballah man ahabba Husayna. The topic which is allocated to me is the climate for Shia Muslims in Europe. I'm going to talk about some experience we had in London and some other capitals in Europe in introducing the Shia, whether according to their faith, according to their social activities, and according to how they are concerned with harmony, justice, fairness, and recognizing the other instead of rejecting the other. 27 years ago, I sat down with late Dr. Muhammad Ali Sharistani to start the International Colleges for Islamic Studies. We agreed that I will deal with the academic part of the project and he will deal with the financial and other parts of the administration. Alhamdulillah, we managed to make this a successful project so far for BA, MA, and PhD in Islamic studies. The medium, of course, is in Arabic, but we have few students who arranged their theses in English. So far, we have 2 from Canada, 1 from London itself, and nowadays we have Hujjat al-Islam Muslimin, Said Mustafa Qazwini, who is preparing his PhD with the International Colleges for Islamic Studies, and inshallah in the next few months he's going to be awarded for his PhD. He's working very hard on that. These 3 are in English, but the majority of PhD and MA awards were in Arabic. So far, 137 theses for MA and 47 for PhD. All these have been awarded, which shows one very important part of introducing Shia Islam when we teach there jurisprudence, principles of jurisprudence, philosophy, both Western philosophy and Islamic philosophy, Quranic studies, ilm al-hadith, and all other subjects in 4 years. And alhamdulillah, we managed to have some branches in Damascus and Iraq for that. In addition to that, 17 years ago, we started another college called Islamic College. In the beginning, it was Islamic College for Advanced Studies, but later on was shortened in Islamic College only, where the media is purely in English. We have courses for BA and courses for MA in Islamic Studies, Islam and the West, Islamic Christianity, and some other topics. So far, this college again managed to produce and train students who became later on good teachers in many schools in London, Glasgow, Birmingham, and Swansea. Some of them, because they got high degrees and high marks, we employed them to come and teach at the college for the first year too. So in this project, again, we see that, alhamdulillah, we managed to affiliate or cooperate with Middlesex University, and gradually the Islamic theology, the Aqidah of the Shia, how to defend it logically and based on the most reasonable understanding, explained, to manage to have some sort of cooperation with the other professors in different colleges and universities in the West, in the UK and Sweden and France. Only last week we had a conference with the University of Stockholm for 2 days, where I prepared a paper about the challenges of multiculturalism in Islam. And it was interesting to tell you that one of the quotes which I referred to Imam Ali alayhi salam in his letter to Malik al-Ashtar, his governor to Egypt, when Imam alayhi salam says, الناس صنفان إما أخ لك في الدين أو نظير لك في الخلق. People or humanity are of two types. Either they are your brothers or brethren in faith, or you are like you in creation. And the discussant to my paper was the senior advisor to the foreign ministry in Sweden. And when he started discussing my paper, he said, "Peace be upon you, O my like in creation," quoting the word of Imam Ali alayhi salam in this way. Why I'm mentioning that? To say that we can introduce the true Islam, how tolerant and logical and reasonable is the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. The way they taught us to argue with wisdom, with logic, and in a way that even according to the Quran, فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. Even those people who are different, who have dispute with you, they are enemies. When you dialogue with them and debate in harmonious way, they see and think that they are your friends and very intimate friends. So in this way you can win the battle when you want to introduce Islam. So for the academic activity, we have these two organizations, the International Colleges for Islamic Studies and the Islamic College. And I'm not going to give advice, although the title says that advice for Americans, but I'm only going to say that as we succeeded in doing so, I believe that you gentlemen, again, you can do the same by establishing academic organizations, universities, colleges, which can spread Islam in the very beautiful way, inshallah. Regarding the Islamic Seminary or Hawza, I'm going to talk about two organizations. One at Al-Khoy Foundation, which was established 25 years ago under the guidance of the late Supreme Marja of the Shias, Ayatollah Sayyid Abul Qasim Al-Khoy. We managed to start the Hawza, and alhamdulillah, some 25 students regularly attend my lectures. We started with basic studies, and now alhamdulillah for last few years, I'm teaching them Dars Kharij, which is the most advanced level of the jurisprudence and fiqh in the whole houses. And alhamdulillah, they are so brilliant in their studies. In addition to that, There is another hawza at the Islamic College, which is part-time, and they started recently. And I am glad to say that Sheikh Muhammad al-Hilli, who is one of the speakers and people who cooperate with this seminar, with this organization, and he's been doing well. He is one of our students there. In addition to that, the schools, and I'm sure that Hujjat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, Sheikh Fadhil al-Sahani has similar one in London, in New York, which is Al-Iman School. Similar to that, we have Al-Zahra and Al-Sadiq School. Al-Sadiq School for boys and Al-Zahra School for girls. It is again interesting to say that first year, a Christian gentleman brought 2 boys and wanted to enroll at a Sadiq school. So I said to him, sir, you know that this is a religious school. We have all the British curriculum exactly as all schools in UK. In addition to that, we will have the religious teachings, Islamic teachings and akhlaq. And do you mind that your sons be involved in this environment and this type of teaching and training? He said, of course I want. I said, what's the reason? He said that I don't mind about the religion. I am concerned with the discipline. And I know that you are so concerned with the discipline. I want them to be trustworthy, honest, well-disciplined, and that is very important for me. For their faith, they choose whatever they want when they become adults. And since then, for the last, again, 27 years, alhamdulillah, we managed to have many youth who became solicitors, doctors, dentists, or whatever, other professions. And alhamdulillah, that was in the name of As-Sadiq and in the name of Az-Zahra alayhim as-salam, to introduce the best of education to the British system. Now, what is MINAB? MINAB is abbreviation of Mosques and Imams National Advisory Board. After the bombing of 7/7 and 21/7, 7 years ago in UK, the government decided to have the right to invade the privacy of the mosques and issued a proposal that the head of the police station in that borough has the right, without getting the permission from the court, to enter any mosque, take all the documents, lock it without any warning from the court. So it was a threat. And here we thought that we Shias, although we don't have such experience and nothing to worry about, but we have to work together with the Sunnis. And an organization, a steering committee first was established by 4 groups, 3 organizations from Ahl Sunnah. One was MCB, Muslim Council of Britain, where 600 mosques in the whole United Kingdom are covered by MCB. Then another organization by British Muslim Forum. Mostly these are Brailwis and lovers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and approximately 240 mosques are run by them. Then a third one was the group of Ikhwan and Rashid al-Ghanoushi. Fewer mosques belong to them. And Al-Khoy Foundation was the Shia organization. So 4 steering committees worked together, 2 representatives of each, and we wrote to the government that please do not take this decision, this action. We try to organize and manage ourselves and our mosques. And according to them, they said that we are going to shelve this. And you know that shelving it, which means that it is not completely forgotten, can be used any minute. Alhamdulillah, in the last 7 years, these 4 organizations work together, and I can say proudly, the experience of working with our brothers of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah in different ways, especially in this particular way, to give the best of advice to the mosques, how to run, how to create how to combat the extremism, how to train the youth, how to make facilities for those who want to attend for trainings and some other activities there, avoiding all types of extremism. And alhamdulillah, it was fruitful. And it was, again, funny to say that we had some argument about how percentage is the Shia within the whole organization. Some members were so tough to say you are only 10%. Some others went a bit higher. But after many discussions, we managed to say that our share in the cake is 20%. And we managed to fix that in the constitution of MENA, which is the national, the Mosques and Imams National Advisory Board. It is only to tell us about how, in addition to whatever we heard from Hujjat al-Islam Muslimin, Sayyid Hassan Qazwini, and some other speakers in the morning session, how we Shias, followers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we can introduce our dignity, our faith, our aqeedah, and to show the role of our Imams alayhi salam in educating us and training us to be the best of Muslims here. One story, I think, if I have time, if I may, one story about the word of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, when he said that invite people, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So it is a tradition that when the names of Imams is mentioned, we hear the loud salawat. And I remember this from my childhood. Gar lahmuka lahmi, hadith nabawi hai, bi salli ala, naam ali bi khiradi hai. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that invite people to our path, not with your tongues. So one of the companions of the Imam said, how can we invite people without talking to them, without having conversation with them? Imam alayhi salam said, تدعونهم بأعمالكم لا بأقوالكم. You invite them by your acts, not by your words. And as in English, the phrase says that acts speak louder than words. There was a doctor from Sudan called Dr. Mu'tasim, who in year 2005 came from Sudan to have his postdoc course in Dublin in Ireland. And nearer to the final exams, the bank wrote him a letter that there is a remittance of 40 million euros in your name. Do you want it to be in the current account or saving account? According to tax arrangement, there is a difference between this and that. So he went to the bank and said, I do not expect any remittance of such amount at all. I think there is a mistake. After 2 weeks, they wrote him a second letter to say that the interest on this amount is 34,820 euros. Do you want it to keep it in the same account or in a different account? He said, I told you that it is not mine. I don't know anything about it. And went for the third time, and they get that it was increased and this accumulating interest. And it was the night before last exams, when you know everybody for postdoc or even the all normal students, they have to concentrate on their studies. They wrote him a fourth letter. And he took the letter to the solicitor, said that, please sue these people because they are, not allowing me to concentrate on my studies. 3 times I said, it is not mine, and still they are teasing me and trying to, divert my attention from my studies. So 3 colleagues in the hospital told him, what are you doing? You are not cheating. You did not ask for it. They only chasing you for that. And if you work for 50 years as a doctor, you are not going to earn that money at all. Why don't you take it and run away? And do you know what was his response? He said, Islam taught us not to touch what does not belong to us. So this is an act which speaks louder than 10 lectures in honesty or 15 books about the subject. Because in this way, you show that you have understood Islam, acted upon it, and it is part of your existence. This is what we need. To be Shia of Imam Ali alayhi salam, to be followers of Imam Hussein and our Imams is very, very good. But the spirit of their teachings must be in our hearts, in our actions, in every single reflection of that. And that is to show that we are nad'u بِأَعْمَالِنَا لَا بِأَقْوَالِنَا, which means that we invite to the path of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam by our acts and not by our voices. Now I come to another example, is about the social activities. And I'm going to mention 3 examples. One, about Lady Fatima Trust. Alhamdulillah, in the last 17 years, this trust, which we started that with Brother Amir Ali, Ghulam Ali Karim in London, started very, very humble, but alhamdulillah, it is covering many areas, and I'm going to mention only few activities: digging wells, supporting orphans, widows, microfinance, assistance at times of crisis, eye clinic, iftar project, solar cookers in marshlands in Iraq, and the ward of eye clinic in the hospital of Imam al-Hujjah in Karbala, which is established by my maternal uncle, Ayatollah Sayyid Murtada Qazwini, father of Sayyid Mustafa and Sayyid Hassan. A big hospital there. The whole department of eye treatment, all the requirements for that donated by Lady Fatima Trust as one of the examples, which is to show that we can do many, and offer many services to the needy, to people here and there, not limited to Iraq or Iran. It is in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Lebanon, and many other countries about all these services. Noor Trust, again, where orphans and marriage courses and some other activities like that. Again, Sheikh Mohammed al-Hilli is part of that activity. And then we have Iraqi Orphan Foundation, covering for the last 13 years many orphanages in Iraq. And lastly, we have the Family Affairs Committee, not last year, one before last. The Family Affairs Committee, where 6 doctors, 5 religious scholars, and 3 ladies, 1 as secretary and 2 as social workers, dealing with the matrimonial problems And alhamdulillah, so far, although the disputes and the problems are increasing, but alhamdulillah, I mean, in many cases, we were successful to solve these problems. And in the end, I'm talking about media, and alhamdulillah, media, as we saw the significance and importance of reaching people and allowing our voice to reach the mind of everybody is so important. So Ahl al-Bayt TV, and again, you've seen, I think, many programs and the broadcasting here, you can benefit from it. Another activity for talking about the principles of Aqidah, of Shia, promoting their solutions to problems and trying to give the best of advice to people about that. So this is the climate of Shia in Europe or in the UK specifically. What about the advice? In reality, I don't have any advice to that for Americans. What I can say that we always can learn from one another, we can consult one another, and we have to exchange our experiences, and by that, the door is open for such consultation, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the opportunity to serve Islam and Shiism in the best method available to us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.